Ferrari has just revealed the SF25, and this changes everything. A car with just 1% of parts in common with its predecessor, designed to break Red Bull's hegemony. But can it really do it? Before I tell you, tell me in the comments. Do you think Ferrari will challenge for the title in 2025? Ferrari has decided to abandon its conservative approach and go for a radical change with the SF25. Rather than following the gradual evolution strategy that characterized its last few cars, the Scuderia has built a completely new car, with just 1% of parts in common with the SF24. This redesign responds to the need to correct key deficiencies that have limited the team's performance in previous seasons. Frédéric Vasseur has been clear on this point. Ferrari could not afford small adjustments if it wanted to challenge Red Bull and Mercedes in the fight for the championship. The decision to completely change the concept of the car was not impulsive, but the result of a detailed analysis of the weaknesses that affected the performance of the SF24. One of the main problems of the previous season was the inconsistency in the car's behavior, with difficulties in maintaining stable performance on different types of circuits and race conditions. The first major change visible on the SF25 is the pull rod front suspension. This configuration allows the car's center of gravity to be lowered and the airflow to be optimized at the front, improving stability in fast corners and responsiveness in changes of direction. Red Bull has demonstrated the effectiveness of this solution in recent years, and Ferrari has decided to incorporate it into its design with the aim of improving the car's overall balance. In addition to the suspension, Ferrari has completely redesigned the car's aerodynamics. In recent seasons, the Scuderia has had difficulties in generating downforce without penalizing straight-line speed. To address this issue, the SF25 features a revised configuration of the side pods and floor, focused on maximizing aerodynamic efficiency. Changes to the camber of the side pods and the optimization of the diffuser aim to improve the stability of the car without increasing drag, a key factor on high-speed circuits. Another key aspect in the break with the past is the redistribution of the car's weight. Ferrari has worked on a new chassis configuration that allows for a better balance between the front and rear axles, ensuring greater stability under braking and better traction under acceleration. This change not only improves the car's behavior in low and medium speed corners, but also allows for more efficient tire management on long runs. The SF25 also introduces a new, more compact gearbox, designed to optimize mechanical efficiency and reduce the car's overall weight. This adjustment allows for a more flexible distribution of internal components, improving the integration of the rear suspension system and the car's response to gear changes. All of these changes reflect a more aggressive approach on the part of Ferrari. Rather than trying to fix the SF24's problems with superficial modifications, the Scuderia has opted for a thorough transformation that seeks to lay the foundations for a new stage in its technical development. The big question is whether this change in philosophy will be enough to challenge Red Bull's dominance or whether there are still aspects to be polished before Ferrari can once again challenge for a world title. Ferrari has carried out a complete overhaul of the SF25's aerodynamics with the aim of generating more downforce without compromising efficiency on the straight line. To achieve this, the team has optimized the design of the side pods, the floor, and the interaction of the airflow in key areas of the car. One of the most notable changes is the modification to the structure of the side pods. Unlike the SF24, where the air inlets were positioned further forward, on the SF25 they have been moved back a few centimeters. This change reduces the impact of turbulence generated by the front wheels and optimizes the channeling of the airflow towards the rear of the car. Red Bull has applied similar strategies successfully in recent years, indicating that Ferrari is looking to replicate some of that aerodynamic efficiency. Another significant adjustment is the greater inclination of the side pods towards the rear. This design allows the airflow to be guided more effectively towards the diffuser, improving the car's ability to generate downforce without increasing drag on the straight line. Air management in this area is essential, as it directly influences the car's stability in high-speed corners and the car's efficiency during long runs. The SF25's floor has also been the subject of significant modifications. The key here has been to maximize ground effect, ensuring that air flows in a more controlled manner under the car. To do this, Ferrari has worked on the profile of the Venturi tunnels, seeking to increase the amount of air passing through this section without generating turbulence that affects stability. Optimizing this area not only improves the car's overall downforce, but also contributes to more predictable behavior on different types of circuit. An additional aspect that Ferrari has considered in this new configuration is the interaction of the aerodynamics with the pull rod front suspension. By lowering the position of the kinematic elements, a lower center of gravity is achieved, allowing for better response in changes of direction and less sensitivity to gusts of crosswind. These types of solutions can make a difference on tracks with fast corners, where stability and the ability to maintain the ideal line are essential to extract maximum performance. Another key point in the aerodynamics of the SF25 is the optimization of cooling. Ferrari has worked on the redistribution of the internal ducts to improve heat dissipation without affecting aerodynamic performance. This allows for maintaining an optimal temperature in the car's key components, especially in high-load conditions, such as those experienced on circuits with high temperatures or with many low-speed corners where cooling becomes a challenge. The ultimate goal of all these modifications is to close the gap with Red Bull and Mercedes, teams that have dominated aerodynamic efficiency in recent years. If Ferrari can correctly balance aerodynamic load with low drag on the straights, the SF25 could become a car capable of consistently fighting for wins. However, actual performance will only be confirmed on track, where simulations and aerodynamic calculations will have to be translated into competitive times. One of the most critical aspects that Ferrari needed to improve on the SF25 was traction and stability under acceleration. During the 2024 season, the SF24 showed problems when exiting corners, losing performance on circuits where traction was a key factor. To correct this, the team has worked on a redesign of the rear suspension and the weight distribution of the car, seeking to maximize the transfer of power to the ground without compromising the balance of the car. One of the main adjustments has been the reduction of squat, the phenomenon that causes the rear axle to sink when the car accelerates hard. This effect affects stability and reduces traction capacity when exiting slow and medium corners, generating time losses in acceleration. To minimize this, Ferrari has optimized the geometry of the rear suspension, introducing changes to the control arms and the rigidity of the structural elements. This adjustment allows the car to maintain a more stable aerodynamic platform, avoiding sudden oscillations in the car's height and ensuring better power transfer to the rear wheels. Another determining factor in improving traction is the balance of the chassis. Ferrari has worked on redistributing the internal components to optimize weight distribution, ensuring that the load on the rear axle is sufficient to generate the necessary grip on corner exit without compromising stability under braking. This redistribution is key to achieving a better connection between the engine, suspension, and the car's behavior in different track conditions. The interaction between suspension and aerodynamics also plays a fundamental role in the stability of the SF25. The new configuration of the floor and diffuser allows for a more efficient flow of air at the rear of the car, which contributes to generating additional downforce under acceleration. This extra load helps keep the rear wheels glued to the road, reducing slippage and allowing for more effective power delivery without the car losing traction on corner exit. Another key point in improving acceleration stability is the adaptation of the SF25 to the Pirelli tires. Last season, Ferrari had difficulties in keeping the tires in their optimum temperature range, which affected the traction and response of the car in the first turns of each stint. To correct this, the team has worked together with Pirelli on the calibration of the car, ensuring that the interaction between the suspension, the weight of the car, and the degradation of the compounds is more efficient throughout the race. The gearbox has also been subject to adjustments to improve acceleration stability. Ferrari has developed a new, more compact transmission, allowing for a more efficient distribution of weight at the rear and a reduction in gear change times. This not only helps to improve power delivery, but also reduces the possibility of the car losing stability in the transition between one gear and another, especially in corners where acceleration is critical. The set of these modifications seeks to ensure that the SF25 has a more predictable and efficient behavior in acceleration. If Ferrari can maintain an optimal balance between traction, stability, and power delivery, the car could make up time in areas where the SF24 suffered, becoming a real threat on circuits with slow corners and in low-grip conditions. However, the key will be how these improvements translate to the track, where competition with Red Bull and Mercedes will demand consistent performance in all areas of the car. The SF25 represents Ferrari's most ambitious gamble in recent years. It is not a simple evolution of the SF24, but a deep redesign that seeks to correct the weaknesses that have prevented the Scuderia from competing consistently for the championship. From the adoption of a front pull rod suspension to aerodynamic and mechanical optimization, every technical decision reflects the team's determination to close the gap with Red Bull and Mercedes. However, the success of the SF25 will depend on its performance on track from the first race. In a season where teams must balance the development of the current car with preparation for the new 2026 regulations, Ferrari cannot afford a slow start. The key will be in the car's ability to adapt to different circuits, maintaining a solid performance both in qualifying and in the race. Tire management, aerodynamic efficiency, and stability under acceleration will be determining factors in consolidating Ferrari as a real contender for the title. The arrival of Lewis Hamilton adds an additional variable to the equation. His experience in the fight for championships and his ability to contribute to the development of the car could make the difference in the evolution of the SF25 throughout the season. However, the car must be up to his demands from the start. Adapting the SF25 to his driving style will be essential to maximize his performance and allow him to compete at the highest level. The impact of this car will not be limited to 2025. The work carried out in its development will serve as a basis for the next era of Formula One, where the Scuderia will have to prove that it has the ability to return to the top of the category. If Ferrari achieves competitive performance from the start, it will be able to focus its resources on the transition to 2026 without compromising its aspirations in the present. On the other hand, if the SF25 shows weaknesses from the first races, the team will face difficult strategic decisions that could affect its immediate future. Now the question is for you. Ferrari has made risky decisions with the SF25, but will they be enough to challenge Red Bull's dominance? Or will the Scuderia once again fall short of glory? Leave your opinion in the comments. If you are interested in learning more about the development of the teams and their strategies for next season, subscribe and activate notifications so you don't miss a thing.